La Ventana del Mar. I want to make just a fast quote here. This is the work that we have been doing since the last General Assembly in November to this month of February. So all of this is the compressed period from November to February. Go adelante, por favor. This is activities. We get a Warsaw speaker. This is for events and different things around the pool too. We were needing it very badly. Adelante. These are the 100 membrane cartridges for the water treatment plant. These membranes are very, very necessary. Let me tell you that we bought 100, but we really need 200. They are expensive, so we decided to make this buy in November, but we will have to buy another 100. As long as we have these water treatment plant operating, we'll have to be replacing them. You can see that they are rectangular and they are like a filter. So when the water goes through, flows through them, they start accumulating small particles that get added to the walls of the membranes, and in certain time, even if we maintain them, we take them out, we wash them, we do everything that is in the book to keep them the best as possible. But on time they were out and we have to replace them. So right now we bought the first 100 and we will buy the second batch very soon. So the water treatment plant keeps working. Next slide, please. La Ventana del Mar jacuzzi, jacuzzi pool right back here. We replaced this one. The other one was very old and was malfunctioning in and out. We rebuilt it several times with parts, but right now we decided to buy a new one because the other one was, we bring back Lazaro like 3 or 4 times, so they say that's enough, let's buy a new one. Next slide, please. We have the tools area where we keep the tools and where we keep the workshop where the guys work in the area of La Ventana and Las Villas. So we have it without roofs or not roofs well done. So there were leakings, there were problems to keep everything that it has to be. So we decide to cover them up and we make the floors too with cement, so there was no dirt anymore. So that keeps in better shape everything inside there. Next slide, please. This is the new look of our security people. You can see the smile in the face of the girl. She is Alma. She has been working with us for more than 3 years. And we, in this area, we bought 36 shirts and 24 pants. And we buy the boots and the belts. So this is the new look of our security department. Next, please. In security, we buy tire sets for 3 of our cars: the Tacoma 2006, the Pointer 205, and the Tacoma 2000. The tires were not in good condition. The same thing, the cars have to go through the desert, make the circle of the perimeter, go through the emergencies that they are called to. So we have to have good set of tires, because we cannot have a pinch when we are running to see if somebody is in the ground or having a heart attack or whatever. So I think so this looks for the safety of our people. And we reload the extinguishers. Usually this is not informed, but this is something that I think so is very important for everybody to know that we have extinguishers in the areas. So this is a prevention and we just reload them. Next, please. Now this is El Dorado Ranch. Okay, next please. In activities, we bought microwave, we bought a stereo mixer, wireless microphone, iPod, sound equipment. This one is good music that you have been listening lately in the pool, in the other side. The sound equipment, we have it right here in the front. Is right here working right now, and the other one on the other side of the table. The microphone, I have one in my hand, and the professional stereo mixer is for the events in Nampalapa. And right here, we are using it right now too. The microwave is in the office, so the guys, when they have lunch, they can warm up, or the people who goes there and has their lunch, they can do it there. Okay, next slide, please. EDR Paseo del Sol Road. We put dirt in these roads again. This was not done in that area for a while. Right now, same thing. We put the dirt. We put the property amount to keep a good around 2 inches, 3 inches of soil, and we made the crowning. So I think so. It will last for a while. Next, please. Okay. The Paseo del Sol Road was in 7,300 community. The distance covered was 2.5 kilometers, and it was 1,000 cubic meters of dirt. So that's a good amount. You can see the different transition of the work done. Next, please. EDR Vista del Sol Road, same thing. We applied 500 meters of dirt from block 30 to road to block 40. Approximately 250 cubic meters of dirt were applied there. Next one, please. Just a comment before going to the mechanic shop. We have been doing more roads than in the last 2 years, so it has been an improvement, and we will keep doing that. Next, please. The mechanic shop, we bought a personal machine to wash the motors, to wash the parts of the cars, the heavy machine and everything, because each week when the heavy machine stop working in the areas, doing the dirt movement and everything, we take them back to the mechanic shop, we wash them up, and we grease them up, and we maintain them. Each week is done that to keep them in the best possible way, because we don't want to be not using it in the proper way. Next one, please. The maintenance too. This is, we put 10 new tires for the water truck, so it has all new tires. Same thing, we use them very often, daily, so they have to have good tires, and we were not having them in the right way. So right now, we did with slab for a good time. Next, please. Security, this is part of the equipment that we have. Both, it's three Emerson TV screens, 3 HP Hewlett Packard all-in-one computers, 3 voltage regulators to prevent the shocks, because you know in San Felipe the electricity is not even, it has peaks and valleys. So in this way we protect this equipment. We bought LED lamps for the guys out there in the desert. And these are the type of boots that they are using right now. We bought 80 pairs of them. Adelante, la próxima, please. These are the belts. They are going to have the baton. They will have spray pepper. They will have handcuffs. And for sure they will be trained. And this is for the bad guys that intrudes into the ranch. Gas carrier, handle carrier, lamp carrier, key carrier, radio carrier. Next one, please. These are the black jacket that we bought for them, 60 security jackets, plus 180 security shirts and 16 supervisor shirts and 132 Dickies pants. This is for them to look professional. Next, please. This is Security 1 EMCOM Turbo 8 closed circuit camera system for customer service office. This is to check all the cars that come in, all the cars that go out, and inside the office. There has been abuse committed by certain people against our employees. And when we confront the people, say, no, I didn't say, I wasn't even there. So with this, we can prove what they were really saying and happening. Next, please. This is Las Villas. Next one, please. We have been doing walkways. We started with them in June, then in September do a little bit more. But right now we made the 28 building for the walkway. This is when we started breaking it down. Then we start doing it, and this is the finishing of it. Next one, please. This is the 36.3. It's the same thing, breaking it, making the form, filling it up, and it is totally completed. Next one, please. This is 36.4. Same way, we did 3. Next one, please. We bought a new cart because we used to have a flat platform that everything that we put on it, we have to be stopping to collect them and then putting it back again. So it was too much effort, too much cost for stopping and everything. So we bought this new one, and it's very good. It's very well done. Even comes with a manual to use it in the right way, how to maintain it. So our guys went really neat, and they love it. They can tell you, because they don't have to stop anymore. They can put everything in one load, and that's it. If we have a smaller load, usually they will use another thing. They will use the pickups. That's a real thing. And for example, with this one, you can see here in the back, we have a lot of palms that we have to trim, bushes we have to cut, and things like that. So at certain times we have to make several trips, and just picking up and putting back was a big deal. Next one, please. Power tools. These were bought for Las Villas. Right now our guys are keeping them in the workshop, and they are more productive, they're more efficient, because right now they can do the work the way it has to be done with the proper tools. Next one, please. This is a very important part that I took myself personally with Ricardo Perez, our operations manager, and the guys in maintenance in Las Villas. The pool area was a little bit not in good shape. First we make these walls around it. This one is the fence in the one. This is preventing this land, this earth to come in when the rains come into the pool. We have that problem this time that was a heavy rain. We have to clean it up, we have to close it, we have to cast trolls to the residents and to the renters. Right now we painted all these fence around, and we added this, in September we added the pool equipment. And in the future we will do the pool deck, but that is in another phase. Next one, please. Thank you. This is another view. It's the same thing. All the painted area totally. This is a number 2 pool. Same thing. This looks, there is not painted yet. Next slide, please. And here we start. Next. So you can see how the progress is, and it's looking better and better. Right now, there is we put bolts can take them out and paint them inside the workshop, not in the area, because there's always wind, and we don't want to spray out the pool, we don't want to spray out the furniture, so we take them out and we return them. And in that way, if one is damaged or needs repairment, we can do that in the workshop, not right there. The pool one restroom remodeling. The first time I went into the restrooms, I don't like them, so I told the guys, you know, we're going to fix them up. So we painted all the doors, we changed the faucets, we changed the sinks, we changed the urinators, we changed the expenders of soap and hand towel, and we painted. The last thing we are going to do is not yet done, is to change the floors, because they are stained, they don't look good. And we put mirrors mainly in the woman area. If you want to put makeup or something, there's there. So this is what we are doing in the pools. Next slide, please. This is bathroom number 2. Next slide, please. You can see now the construction of Building 7. This is the outside. This is from the right side of the building. This will be the number 4 unit. And this is the detailing that is being done in the chimney. All these parts are with plastic guards. So that if they are heated after they are finished, we will just have to repaint them. We don't have to repaste and everything. Right here you can see that the inside doors are already in the process of being painted, and so we are already starting to work in the insides. Next slide, please. That's it. Okay. Well, this is what we have been doing. Now I open the floor for questions. Whoever wants to come to the front, please, there is a microphone.
Okay, I'm supposed to sing now. My name is Peggy Lane. I live in La Ventana, and though I live in La Ventana, I consider all of El Dorado Ranch my home. So I am concerned about some of the security issues, and as a new member of the Scorpions, and I have a relatively new Jeep to me, I have enjoyed driving on the perimeter roads to practice my desert driving. And so in question to security closing those perimeter roads, may I suggest that the roads be open to people so that there would be even more eyes. So if someone was coming across onto the ranch, we could report that to security so that we could practice our driving out on those roads and enjoy all of the range. And finally, I would suggest that if we're going to close the roads or take measures such as this, that those proposals be brought to us as homeowners, since we live here. And last, if we could drive on the roads, and I understand the beams are in the ditches, why not set some boundary lines and have some consequences? So if we were to drive into the ditch or walk across the ditch and set the beam off, we would be fined $25 or whatever would be an appropriate amount. So those are some of my concerns.
Okay. Let me give you an explanation about the roads around the perimeter. First of all, these roads were not existing. The first thing I have to say about the roads, they are not private roads, they are city roads. Even if we are a community, in Mexico, all the roads in a community are the property of the state. As a matter of fact, the Saltito Road, for example, it's a public road. We have the right to put the gates because we make a special agreement with the government of Baja California. If not, we will not be allowed to do it. And for that, the developer did the El Saltito Road that is by the storage, that is at the end of El Dorado, going south. So that's why we are allowed to have the gates. So, second thing, I was explaining that the road in the perimeter, it was not there before. This was done precisely and with the only objective to provide us with a way to go fast, because sometimes we have to drive fast to go there, and we have to make our patrolling. So this is a security road, really. For sure, the people wants to use it. Everybody wants to use it. But you have to put in balance that. What is more important? The security of everybody? Or just, I want to go into my desert practicing, as our lady here says. We have a lot of desert around. There is an off-road area just across the main entrance of La Ventana del Mar. There is a big circuit, and it's good for ATCs, it's good for Jeeps, it's good for racers, for everything. And it's big. I can tell you it's really big. If you want information on that, so you can practice that kind of riding, we can provide it to you. That's an area that you can do it very well. And you give us the opportunity to keep the roads for security, which is what we want to do, and keep the area very safety. That's why we have been keeping the El Dorado without the troubles that right now many camps are suffering, and south of San Felipe, north of San Felipe, and San Felipe itself. Next, please.
I'm Michael Momansky. I live on this side of the road. But I have some concerns. One, at the last developers meeting, you said you had all the sewer grates marked and with reflectors. I guess I'm going to be a little bit sarcastic and says, when will we get the reflectors on them? There are many that have no reflectors on them, so on the security posts. There are several that have one reflector in one direction and none in the other, and we need that sewage cap is about 3.5 feet wide if you take the dirt alongside of it. And if you've got a reflector on one side, I've seen marks where people have hit the other side because they were going around it and did not go far enough. So I would like you to have somebody put reflectors, 4 reflectors for each one of those, so that that problem doesn't exist.
Very good point. Let me give some more information about that. When we do that, we put reflectors in all the area. Totally. We have pictures. I can show them. I can show them to you. What happened is that these people start hitting them. And they turn down. And let me tell you something else. They have been stolen. Because we go, they are not braked, but the reflector is not there. From time to time, we do it again. And we are in the process right now of, again, making bid and everything, because that happens. And no, I agree with you, it's very important, because the manholes are very high.
The other thing you could do is lower the manholes.
I can do that because that's a developer's thing. It's a developer thing, I'm not going into that.
All right.
Next question,
I've
please.
still got 2 more to go. One is that there is, in the last few months, there's been a lot of work around the golf course. And this is all well and good, except that the construction tractors and people are running across lots, making a new road from the road that's supposed to be there to the golf course. And what we're getting now is back to the problem of people who have an ATV, they see that it's an open road, and now they're running across the private property in Desert Inn. And we get some way to get the maintenance workers to use only the roads they're supposed to use and not create new ones, and the ones that are there, block them off so that people stop using them.
Yeah, that's right. We know about that. We have been talking with the developer on that because the golf court workers are developers people. But we are going to talk about this again. And you are right. We just talked about a lot last week, and it's going to be closed. We will put more sandbars so they cannot go in. Yes, and I agree with you. That's what invites the ATCs and some other kind of vehicles to go in.
Okay, my third and last question is more for the supervisors. What it boils down to is that La Ventana and Las Villas are paying a fee for the golf course. We voted for that. It's a 2-year contract. I would like to have the supervisors approach the developer to take the monies that we pay for the maintenance of his golf course, deduct that from our CAM bill, and then change the contract to that, to state that, and possibly even pick up the monies already paid for his golf course maintenance and reduce that CAM bill for that. So I'd like to get a reply from the supervisor. Yeah, no, I understand you don't have an answer now, but I'd like to have you guys pursue that on our behalf. I brought it up about, this is probably the third time in 4 years that I brought that up. I'd like to have something back to me saying why it can't happen if it doesn't. Thank you.
Thank you to you. Please, Tony.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tony Cuevas, and I live in Palos Verdes Norte, number 2. I've been here for going on 11 years, and I enjoy it here very much. But one of my questions that I got for you, Roberto, is the Telenor problem that we're still having. The Telenor problem, and it's really ridiculous because it's almost going on for at least 8-9 months already. And every time I go into the office, Roberto always says, Roberto's working real hard on it. So if you have any information as far as what's going to happen, how's this going to get cleared up, because I know they brought some fiber from the Telenor office downtown. They were running it down the highway. I worked for AT&T for 36 years. The last 15 years of my time there, I did a lot of fiber optic. So they're bringing it, they brought it all the way down over there by, I don't know, I believe Peach Camp, it went underground. So do you have any information on, is that going to be for the ranch? Is it going to update our progress with getting this problem fixed with our Telenor situation?
Yes, Tony. As a matter of fact, you know that there's only Telenor in Mexico. Right now, AT&T came in, and in the future, maybe they will be competing with Telenor. But on Wednesday, 17th of this month, I wrote to the director of Mexicali Telenor, and I asked him, how is this going? When are we going to start receiving the new system? And what he says is that the corporative headquarters Mexico City has approved the investment in the systems that are going to be installed in El Dorado Ranch. And they will start working, they didn't say the date yet, in the concentrator antenna that is at the entrance of the ranch. This is you can see the Telenor sign there. This is official from him. So I expect him. He told me, last time we talked, he said that we will be finishing this whole thing by June. And he says that, let me put my eyes back. I am having problem. After we work in the installation of the Telenor concentrator in El Dorado, where is the antenna in the entrance of El Dorado, we will start changing the antennas and the terminal equipments in the interior of the homes of the residents. With this, we still have the termination date in June. So he is promising that all this is going to be finished by June.
Of this year?
Yes. Well, you're right, he didn't say that. That's a good quote. I will be in contact. As a matter of fact, when he says, he closed it down saying, thank you for your interest, and I will be talking to you soon in accordance with our advancement in this issue. And he signs here, Carlos Ernesto Arbizo. So he is the guy. And I didn't include it in the agenda because it's not finished. And I love to put things like, we're done. This is finished.
What about the people who aren't going to be here between now and June? For the antennas in?
As soon as they come down, we will inform them and they come down and make the change. That's the way that we have been working with the people when they are not here and they have telephone problems. Each week I receive several communications with residents that say, my telephone is not working. I send it immediately to Telenor and follow up on it. And then the clients, the residents call and say, it's working, or it worked for 3 hours and went off again, or it comes back and forth. So it's like that. But right now, there's not too much that we can do until they make this change, and let's see how it's going to work. Because that's another question. We have to see how is it going to work.
Okay, Roberto, thank you. But I have another question in regards to the November meeting that we had here. They were talking about everybody who was on the master trust. I guess we switched over from HSBC to another bank in Mexico City. And I guess we're going to be getting new paperwork. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was mentioned that they'll be getting it somewhere at the end of November, December, and we're already going to be in March. And is there anything that we should know about as far as the progress about for us to get our paperwork in order to find out what's going on with that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, this is more a development side than HOA, but we are involved because it's a master trust for our residents. The thing is this, the ranch is big, there are more than 8,000 owners, so it's not an easy task. And before it was transferred from HSBC to BIM, which is Banco Inmobiliario Mexicano, which has an office in Mexicali too. What they have to identify each lot with everything information. It's again a process of banking and all of that. They put together all the information and they check one by one. So right now the developer already sent all the information of the first batch, because it's impossible to send them 8,000 and wait until they finish. So this is going to be done in parts, and they already received the first part. And as a matter of fact, they are sending to the first group of people a form that has to be filled so they can make the transfer, paperwork that they have to provide, and all the instructions are there. And it took time, I can tell you. It took time, but it's in the process.
I got mine yesterday.
Okay, Ed, you received.
The other thing is, in the January newsletter, we put an article in there about the process. So if you're logged in to the website, you'll get the supervisor newsletter. If you're not, you won't get that updated information.
Hey Bob, but my computer's not working. No, it has to do with Telmar.
Okay, you can go to the La Taza in downtown.
Roberto, I got one more question
Yes, sir.
concerning security.
Yes.
Now, I talked to Mario. I guess he's the guy who does the hiring and firing. But I talked to him about the type of security that you hire here. There's a lot of kids who were born here in Mexico, and when they were young, 1 or 2 years old, they went up to the States to live. A lot of them came back now, they're 20, 25 years old, 30 years old, and you said that you do a background check here in the state of Mexico, you do a background check on the people. But do you do a background check with the people when they were living up there? The reason I'm asking is because there's been a lot of people that I've talked to here and stuff, and there's a lot of the kids, I call them kids, and they've been deported, and they've been in jail and stuff like that, and they've been, taken to the border, sent back to Mexico, and who knows what they did when they were up there and they got put in prison, whatever. But as long as they come back here and they can speak Spanish and they can speak English, they got a job. But there's no background check what they did up in the States.
No, and I don't know if they will provide us that information. But let me tell you something else. When somebody has been in jail, you know the difference of cultures. It's not the same here in the jail than in the States. When the people comes back, there are ways to identify the people, the way you talk. They use words that are used only in jails or in gangs. So when you start talking and you start saying like, I was with friends in the M, you know who are they talking about? Or I am with M18 or Street 13. You know what they're talking about. So you identify the people. And this is just 2 examples of it. And Julio knows about it. We know about it. And the way you walk, the way you refer to other people, it simplifies too. It's not the same behavior when you are in or when you are out. Because there are certain customs that you acquire that don't go away. And we know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you are questioning too.
Okay. All right, that's all I need to do.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias, Paco.
Thank you.
First, I want to say, there's always been questions about how HOA money is spent and what progress has been made at the ranch over the years and so forth. And this meeting, I think, revealed a great deal of that, and I want to thank you for it. I know some of it, to some of us, was kind of minutia, maybe even a little boring, but I think it was really, really necessary to show that we don't see it all on the budget, and that a lot of money is spent on a day-to-day basis to keep this place going, and that progress is in fact being made. So I want to thank you for a really well.
Thank you. And the supervisor's team too, all time.
So that will soften the blow. Yeah. So actually, it's not so bad. You did mention the condo property taxes, and although I don't own a condo, we do have friends that do. And many of them supposedly went up, double. And you gave an explanation of that, but I wasn't sure if it was an explanation as to why they went up, or if it was an explanation as to it was a mistake and they'll come down. What was the net result? What's the condo taxes now, and what percentage overall increase is it? And if it's more than what it should have been, will they be lowered, and or will people be refunded that already paid and paid at the higher rate?
It is, as I say, it varies from the area. For example, in the condos areas, some of them went up, some of them went down. Here is, this is our official grid after we get the information from the government. And we will put it out in the web so the people can see that. This is the official newsletter from the government. I call it newsletter, but it's an official paper. And this is just the face of the document. And inside, in these circle areas, is the real money that they have to pay. And in these ones too. So, in an individual case, we can help you out with our guy in Mexicali. If, for example, your friend that has a condo, if he wants to know exactly what happened, if you send me his number of the condo and all his information, I send it to this guy, and he will respond to us exactly how was he paying before and how much he has to make.
So as far as you know, if we were to look up today, the tax rates, they should be correct on the computer. In other words, online, for those people that pay online.
Yes.
We can assume those are right.
Yes, right now, that's what they told us. Everything has been straightened out.
Okay. My next question was, when we were going over the budget up there, and you had several line items that affect the budget, such as fixed expenses, variable expenses, and so forth, cost of living expenses. I felt the explanation of the peso dollar gain from last year was a little bit lacking. If I understood it properly, the budget was done last year based on, I think you said 16 pesos to the dollar, which strikes me a little high for last year, but nonetheless, let's say you did it, 16 pesos to the dollar. By the end of the year, it was over 18. So there was some 25 or 30% difference. And you went further to say that most expenses, except for a couple, are in fact paid in pesos. So it would seem with a 25 to 30% change to our advantage, since we pay in dollars and you pay in pesos, that I don't see where that was reflected. I don't mind not getting a refund, but I would have liked to have seen X dollars carried forward perhaps to next year. Can you explain that a little better for me?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was in the explanation that Steve did in his presentation. Yes, there's a difference in the exchange rate. You're right, as Steve said. The difference is in it was at the time we make the budget, we start doing it in July. So we take that amount of exchange rate, and for sure with all these crazy market things, the exchange rate goes up and the price of the gold plummeting down. This is what caused that. This difference is in the budget, but the difference goes into the reserve. We finish it in the end of the year, and we use some of that money to buy the things that we explained here. Not all the money, for sure, but we did some of it because there were needed things that we were needed, and we invest in them. And everything is recorded, everything is with facturas, everything is like it has to be. That's the way it was handled. If you want more detail, Lalo can...
No, actually, that's good. I wanted to hear that, so I'm happy.
Yes.
Another question, we're talking about new security, and I must say I was one of the people that was greatly upset when, everything kind of changed. And I know there was an issue with driver's licenses for a while, and I must honor that you had meetings, you took care of that, you reacted well. It took a while, but I appreciate that. And you were the first to admit that there were mistakes made, and I appreciate that. That's rare nowadays. So I think that's a good thing. But you did make in your comments just a moment ago, which would we prefer, security or the ability of some people to do what they want. And that really translates into what's more important, security or freedom. And there are issues where one can exceed what it needs to be. We could have a 16-foot concrete wall built all around the ranch, which has been proposed by some people up north. So there are extremes that can go to. And I think you've addressed them. The back road thing, I kind of understand that now. You need a road that you can do high speed back and forth on. But I do want you and security to keep in mind that many of us, especially on the mountainside, most enjoy the ranch because of its freedom. We like to feel that when we pass those gates that we're home and this is our place. This same issue came up when local police were allowed onto the property and we felt violated. And now to a degree, we've brought in our own police and I feel even violated more. So please keep that in mind when you make these rules and keep in mind that our freedom is in fact more important than our security, although we want to keep our security. No, don't get me wrong. All right, if you want absolute security, there's some very safe countries in the world, okay? But you have to balance the two, that's all. We of course want security, and I'm glad to see that it increased, and I think it has increased in the proper way. But it's a balance that always has to be kept in mind. Okay?
I agree.
Two short other things. The new HOA website was terrific. That looks great. I would have the question as to how much of that is accessible by non-owners, so that we can maybe refer friends and so forth to it as an example of how great HOA is, because the current El Dorado Ranches, because the El Dorado Ranch sales site really sucks. So this one would be nice if a lot of it is accessible to non-owners.
There are multiple levels of
There are multiple levels of security. There's 7 levels of security on the ranch, going from guest to site administrator. And if you're not an owner, you don't get past guest, period. That's it.
But on guests, can you see those pictures and so forth?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. So, in terms of trying to show somebody where we live.
No, wait a minute. Will he be able to see the slideshow? Not likely, because you have to be signed in.
Okay, all right. Well, that's...
And this is not for, this is for the benefit of the owners.
All right, well, that's what my question was.
And we want to
I'm disappointed in
protect-
that, but that answers.
Okay, we want to protect the site for the owners.
And last, and I may have just missed this, my hearing is impaired. When you were talking about the meetings that are coming up, I either missed or you didn't mention a spring developers meeting. Is it in there?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is in April 23rd.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yes, please.
My name is Kenneth Nestor. Hello, okay. My name is Kenneth Hammer. I'm in the old electric over on the other side of the highway. I've been a full-time resident for 4 years, but my concern security procedures and kind of the direction that this is going, I have some concerns. I am one of the people that actually got robbed. I think it was very late. If it wasn't in January, it was very late in December. Julio did a real good job of catching the guy. What happened was I had a contractor on my property. He brought some workers. 4 months later, one of those workers knocked on my door at 8 o'clock in the morning, wanted me to take him to get some gas. I loaned him some gas. In the process of leaving my property, he stole some tools. They were in the middle of stealing a motor vehicle from somebody's residence that wasn't here. Julio and his guys, they caught him right away. They got one of them. 3 days later, they got the other guy. I spent 6 hours with Julio at the police station, and they arrested the guy. The next day, he got out on bail, and he has not been seen since, that I know of. So, arresting him seemed like I wasted a whole day for that. I didn't get anything back. Okay, what I got here so they were taking the driver's license away from people, and they stopped doing that. I really appreciate that. It was really good. I have very few friends. Only a couple of them live off the ranch. I would really like it if there was some way that if we had people we trust, that we could maybe get a different colored sticker for their window or something, so that my friends would have more freedom to come and visit me, because now most people say, it's Gustavo, I can't get on the ranch, I'm not going to come and see you. You got to come and visit us. You know, I work in my home. I want people to come and see what I'm doing. I can't get my friends over. Okay, so there should be something. And as far as this, these new uniforms and these boots and stuff, it seems like they're turning our security guards into like a paramilitary. I really don't want Alva chasing the guy down with a knife and getting into a knife fight. My barbecue or my TV is not worth one of these guards getting hurt over. That's not what I want them employed for me with. I would rather them call the police or just let them take my, I don't want these guards, if one of these was to get, if somebody got killed, if one of our guards died, that would be a catastrophic thing. And I don't think these guys are trained or proper to be fighting these guys that are coming on. If they're going to go that far with it, then you just got to let them win in that case. Like you said, it's taken a lot of the freedom away from us. We do value our freedom. Let's see, I'll get this over here. I got a few notes that what I would like to see, just in my opinion, would be regular patrols maybe we could buy some more vehicles, we could get some guards, get some regular patrols in the neighborhoods, like they do in the States. Over a period of time, you get to know your guard, keep one guard in one neighborhood, let him patrol, he gets to know the people, he knows who's home, whose cars, who's what. He can keep an eye on the things. I know we have to trust him at that point to not be setting us up to steal from us, but you gotta trust somebody sometime. And if these guards knew the neighborhood and they could keep a better eye, and instead of laser beams on the borders and taking the driver's license away from people, and a 5-minute ordeal for a visitor to get through the gate. I feel when I came to the ranch in 1998, that's why we came here, because we weren't oppressed like you are in the United States. You drive around without a seatbelt, kids in the back of pickup trucks. This is United States 1965. A lot of us, that was our golden years. We love that time. That's the kind of freedom we appreciate. And let's see. Yeah, I guess that's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Jody Clear. I live in Palos South. We've been coming down here for about 10 years. My only concern is Saltillo. The road is in, and I think it's in worse condition than it's been the whole time that we've been coming down here. Part of the thing is because of the way it's deteriorating on the south side, that passing traffic, especially at night, can be kind of dangerous because people are moving further into the inside, and you guys aren't grading it on the way that you used to as far as watering and keeping the thing up. I mean, I don't know whether it's because you need more red dirt or whatever the deal is there, but it's not getting the maintenance that it needs to have.
things that the roads deteriorate is because there's a lot of people speeding. There's limits in the speed.
Oh, yeah.
And you can, if you stay by customer service office, you see the guys or whoever going in at full speed, and that's what damaged very much the roads. And I have been saying that in the different town halls I have held, and some people hear, some other people say I don't care. But that's one of the things that is happening, and we are maintaining it. As a matter of fact, yesterday I saw in the Electric Avenue the water truck putting water in the area. We maintain it, but we need more help to keep it that way. If the people doesn't speed, that helps a lot.
I agree that speed's probably an issue. But the maintenance, like I said, we've been here for 10 years. We've been coming and see what happens. And in the beginning of the time, the amount of times in a month that you got the grader and water truck out there, you're not doing it like they did before. Also, they're not bringing up the side, and now you've got rocks that are in the road bed, and that makes it so people don't want to get over on that side. So they're crowding the guy coming the other way, and it's dangerous, especially at night.
We will check on that. I will make a note about it.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Well, I want to say one thing, Roberto. Thank you for the meeting that you've given us today. You've answered a lot of questions that I've had prior to the meeting. One question I do have is on the security fees that are being placed upon our vendors. I think people who come in and clean homes and things like this have to go through a security procedure, police background check. I think that costs them 100 pesos.
It is a 50 pesos fee, which is very low.
Okay.
And it's only once a year, and they have to redo the process. Just come back with us and say, okay, I'm still working at the ranch, I want to keep going, and this is my badge, give me the new one. This is because we have found people who have come to do one job, but they have to pass for 1 year, and they can come in whenever they want. So we want to keep an eye on who is really working, on who is just holding a pass to whatever.
Okay, so this fee is a 50 pesos?
50 pesos a year. Once a year.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
All right, just a real quick question. I would have asked, but I thought we were going to be limited to one question. 3 personal experiences while golfing. 1, having 4 people in a razor going down the golf court path waving happily at us. 2, a woman walking up the fairway to the 3rd green who refused to move and walked right past us as we stood waiting for her on the tee box. And 3, going on the path from the 1st green to the 2nd tee, my partner happened to see a movement out of the corner of her eye, slammed on the brakes. We came to a sliding stop just to be missed by a flying razor out of the condos with 4 young people in it, laughing and going on. So my question is, and this all happens usually on a busy weekend like we have coming up. So, and I do thank you for trying to make the ranch secure. So will things like this now be more covered so that it doesn't happen when we have a lot of visitors here?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I can tell you that there is a committee who works exactly with property management companies, and as a matter of fact, after this meeting we are having a small meeting because we are going to implement more rules to the property management companies, and they have to abide by them. And yes, we are aware of these problems. All of these more or less pertain to golf, but I am in the golf committee too, so I will let Evelyn about that too, so the guys in the golf court can have an eye. And about the racing in the condos area, yes, we are going to do more things there. Yes. As a matter of fact, it has come down from years before, but we want to decrease it. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Linda Williams. I've been here for 21 years. I live out in Los Viejos North. I have a request for the HOA and the supervisors to please consider when a representative from a group, and in this case pickleball, sends a request through the HOA and it's being discussed at the supervisors meeting, it would really be appreciated if a representative from our group could be there at that meeting during that discussion to present our case, so to speak, or to represent what we're asking for. As you know, pickleball is hosting a huge pickleball tournament next month. We've got so far about 125 people. 2 from Spain, about a half a dozen from San Miguel de Allende, and a group coming up from Cabo. And it's a pretty big deal for the ranch. About 80 of the participants are going to be from, not from San Felipe. We've had requests that we've put through the HOA, and we don't feel that our requests have been adequately presented because there's been nobody from our group to answer questions. I know your time at your monthly meetings is very dedicated. I know it's very thoughtful in your agenda, and I know it's very time-consuming for you. But I just would request that you be thoughtful and considerate and perhaps a little more user-friendly to those of us that are supporting the HOA. And anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. We will consider that. Thank you.
Tom Gorman?
Yes, Mr. Gorman.
There's an area about the size of a football field, and it's right past this driving range, and it's got a lot of like landscaping debris, but there's also construction debris, and there's like boxes of sales records. It's like a dump and bottles and stuff. Most of it is, you know, landscaping debris. It's right out there. It's the size of a football field. I saw it one day looking across over at Pete's Camp. Is that area going to be used as a dump, or is that just temporary? Because if the water comes through that arroyo there, it's still going to end up down on the beach, isn't it?
I'm going to check on that because that's not our HOA using that for that. I will check on that, and I am sure it's going to be clean. Because yes, I haven't seen it, but I will go down there.
So the HOA is not putting landscaping debris down there?
No.
It's like the size of a football field.
We will check on that. We will check on that. I haven't seen it, but I will go myself. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Carl Passinger. I have properties on this side and on this side. In fact, I'm paying 5 homeowner fees. And on the subject of the exchange rate, I noticed the gentleman before said there was like a 25% increase from last year to this year. Now, I remember not too long ago when the exchange rate was 1 to 10. So last year you declared it 1 to 16. This is a 60% difference. My question is, one, why can't we pay in pesos and take advantage of the exchange rate changes? So we as the homeowner have the advantage versus the homeowner association, which would be nice. Or why doesn't our rate go down by from 2 years, 3 years back to now 100%? That's a huge number. Or is it that all of this money goes in the reverse account, which by now we would have a tremendous amount of money in the reverse account, twice what we took in on homeowner fees. So I'd like to have a little bit of explanation of how we can make the exchange rate changes a little more digestible for us. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I think so most of the people remember that for 5 years there were not increases in dues. So that was one of the problems that we have, and we have been carrying on for some time. That's why at a certain time, that was 2 years ago, the last year, we have to make an increase in the dues. At the exchange rate, we try to take advantage the most we can, paying in pesos, but there are certain expenses that we have to do indoors. And we try to save as much money as we can in everything we pay. For example, if we pay the water at the beginning of the year, we get a discount. We do that. If we pay different bills like insurance companies, we get a deduction. We do that. So we are trying to save the more we can. And I don't know exactly the number in the inflation rate, but Lalo, who is our financial guy, I am sure he has it very well defined. And yes, when we make the meetings monthly with the supervisors, they check all the expenses, they check everything we are doing, and that's what we are preparing to do the projects that we want to do, like the solar, the reduction of use of energy. That's what we are looking to for. So yes, we are trying to make each penny is worth, and with the difference in, you have to remember that these changes in the evaluation has been, because it's really an evaluation, it has been in the last 12 months or less. That's the big change, because it was not through in the 2 years that I have been, it has been mostly in the last, what we can say, 5 months, because it was very, very heavy with the plummeting of the oil and with the problem of the markets.
So is there a possibility that we actually could see next year rates go down?
I don't have a crystal ball right now. We have to see the conditions of everything.
Because it's not like 5%.
No.
100%. That's big.
No, what we increased this year was just the cost of living. Just the cost of living. Yes. Yes, sure.
Let me add something to the exchange rate discussion. You mentioned whatever it was, 60% or something over the last 5 years. During that time when the dues were not raised, the Mexican inflation rate was over 50%. So we were basically in deficit spending. Part of the reason that we started building a CAM deficit, a CAM debt, is that we didn't have money to pay for the expenses. So the developer was kind enough to allow us to underpay CAM and owe the money. So we're caught up on that. Now, with the exchange rate, over about 30% of the budget is paid in dollars. There are dollar line items, and we have to pay them in dollars. So the exchange rate has no effect there on that part of the budget. The other thing is when we do our budget, again, we do it in September of the year prior to the year that it's effective. So you are anywhere from 4 to 15 months before you're going to spend. When we do the budget, if we put everything in that we need to run the ranch, keep the roads graded every year, make Saltito Road the way the gentleman wanted to see Saltito Road, everything else, your dues would probably go up by a factor of 50%. We can't do that. So we make choices on what we put in the budget. If we have a little bit of extra money because we budgeted at one exchange rate and 12 months later it's a different exchange rate and we can spend a few more pesos, well, we spend those pesos to do the work that we couldn't budget. So we try to catch up on the road maintenance, red dirt, other things that we just couldn't put into the budget. So we're not going over what the collection of the budget is. As I showed, we were about 11,000 under. But if we have a little bit more money, we try to make up for things that we couldn't do that we were going to defer to future years. So, will the budget go down? If the exchange rate drops down to 10, it probably will. You'll probably see your dues drop. But I don't think the exchange rate's going to go from 18 to 10 anytime soon. So we just have to keep up with this and play this game of pesos, dollars, how much is spent in dollars, how much is spent in pesos. And again, it's a crystal ball that we have to do on doing the budget. But again, the goal is we are not going to overspend what we collect. We don't want to do that. We did that in the past. We don't want to do that in the future.
Thank you, Steve.
Just quickly respond to this. You make it sound like it's just pesos here and there to spend a little more, but it's just not the case. The peso in the last 5 years is just double. That is 100%. That means like you took in the dues all over again. This is not a few pennies here and there. It is from 10 to 18 and a half.
But
so it is about 95%.
the expenses have gone up over 50% in that time period. So even though the peso has devalued, the money we have to spend has gone up.
There's another
There's
thing.
still a
that-
50% difference then. If the expenses go up by 50%, the income goes up 100, there's still 50%.
It hasn't gone up 100. If you look at our revenue, okay, and you can go on the website and you can look at our budgets, and you can see that our budgets, the revenue has been about the same year after year after year. So there has not been that 100% that you're alluding to. But the other thing that has a major impact on our expenditures here in Mexico is that there is a 16% national sales tax on everything we do. $16%.
Yes, ma'am.
After that, I don't know if I'm safe. Okay, these are two things about security. Number one, security is part of the problem on Saltillo Road. I have never seen them drive at 30 miles an hour. They fly at about 50. Now, the other portion of this is, I would like to see headlights and taillights on their vehicles. They have one that has one headlight, they have one that has 3 taillights, they have one that has no, these are headlights, they have one that has no taillights. I mean, it's almost dangerous to go in dusk or dark, not knowing what security is going to be doing.
Okay, about the taillights, I'm going to go directly to see the cars. And if they don't have them, we will put them on. That's, for me, that's very important. And I agree, and I thank you for telling me that, because I haven't noticed. But we will go to check it by myself. Sometimes security, and I agree with you, maybe this is not the case in all the times, but sometimes they are responding to an emergency. Could be somebody who called and is sick or whatever. But if they are not, Julio is right there. Julio, you hear that some of your people is speeding in Saltillo and some other places. So we have to talk with them about it. Okay?
Thank you.
We will take care of that. Thank you. Well, if there's no more questions, I thank you all. And I just want to remind you that the next town hall meeting is in June 25 and the developers meeting is in April 23rd. Thank you very much.